How do you deal with and handle the critics, the shit feedback, the ones that say you're an idiot and you're a moron and we hate you?
You as a blogger, I think first of all, some people just shouldn't do this. If you're going to be really upset by that, it's going to ruin your day. There are some people who they can read 100 positive comments and then one negative one and their day is ruined, right? And that's, I think a lot of creative people are like that and they persist anyway, but it can be really discouraging if that's how you feel. And so, the way I handle it mostly is I just remind myself of the big picture. So sometimes there will be, I don't know, let's say 500,000 people read a blog post. And, you can look at like how many shares and likes there are, and there are like 80,000 or something like that. And then there are 300 comments. And 40 of those comments are really nasty and negative because maybe this was a post. On my science post or procrastination post, there's almost no negativity. There's some people that are thoughtfully correcting me. And that, I think, that doesn't even put me in a bad mood. I think that's interesting. And I'm like so happy that I have like smart people here who are like engaging in, constructive disagreement. So I'm talking about like, if I write about politics or something, I'm going to have, a handful of nasty, comments, personal, whatever. And so I'm like, you can look at those and get upset, or you can say 500,000 people read this. 80,000 people liked or shared it. 300. So this is a very small, non-representative sample of the big group. It's the kind of people who comment. 300. And most of those, 85% of those were positive or neutral. And so we're talking about 40. And so then I would think like, if there are a stadium full of 80,000 people who shared it and liked it, picture 40 people in that stadium that are like, this sucks. Suddenly it rolls off your back because you're like, this is not a bit, it's like, it's inevitable. Like if you write something that has that about politics, that has a lot of attention. And it's not that, by the way, it's not that I think that only 40 people didn't like it. A lot of the 500,000 people who didn't like it aren't going to comment. So it's not that I'm like, everyone loved this. No, it's like, yeah, some people didn't like it, but it's inevitable. If you're doing something that has a strong point of view, especially on something controversial, it's going to piss people off. And so I think you can do these kind of thought experiments. This is A, inevitable. B, if you look at the whole big number, it's a small minority. C, that person who are saying something, nasty, there's a good chance they barely follow you. A lot of times these people aren't even fans of yours. They just came across it. And maybe that's their 12th negative comment of the day on a blog because they're just the kind of person, they're just going from blog to blog. So these kind of rational thoughts can just make the emotions simmer to being like, and almost like you kind of laugh and just move on. And it truly doesn't bother you if you can get there.
Final one before we discuss one piece in particular, and then we'll do a quick fire. What piece are you most proud of, and which piece do you get most pushback on?
I'm probably, I don't know, like I'm proud of some of those long explainers, like the SpaceX post, I think was like, there was a big story to tell there. And I think after a lot of like thinking and toiling, like came up with a very good way to tell that story. And I think I told it well. So I'm very proud of like that. And I think that I know people, that post like inspired some young people to go work at SpaceX and work in that industry. And so I'm very happy about that. And what was the other question?
Which piece do you receive the most pushback on, the most critic?
Oh, without question, the stuff on this last book I wrote and the series before, just anything to do with American politics. There is not any single thing you could write about American politics that some people won't hate in America. Hate. So, for without question, just wading into the world of politics and political tribalism, again, I think a lot of people like those things. I think it clicked well with most of my audience, but there's a lot of, I'm so disappointed this coming from you. I used to respect you. There's a lot of that. And that's okay. Like it's okay. I'm sad. I'm like, I wish all the readers liked it, but like it's inevitable. And that's, you don't get into you don't write about politics if you can't handle some of that.
And my mother always taught me you never talk about politics or religion at dinner parties.
Which is basically what I just did at a very public dinner party. So